So you need to look at what you would like, create that checklist and see if it's realistic, and then work out what kind of style you like. Pinterest is a great option for that because there's so many different styles on it that you can just explore, put it together and see kind of what you can create in the space that you've got. I would say that you need to play with the strengths that you've got from the space. So if it is a dry, shady garden, look at the plants that work well in that space and embrace it. Don't think of it as a negative, because every space has its own beauty. And for example, shade planting is really luscious with all the different textures and colours of green, and I think play with that. Ferns, epimediums, pachysandra, alchemilla works well in sun or shade, so that's a good one. Foxgloves, play with foxgloves, they're amazing. I'm really into wildflowers and I think what people would consider weeds. I like to put them in amongst your typical ornamental, like geums, geraniums, and have this kind of blend between nature and what man has manipulated. So for me, it's more about having planting beds that blend all of that together. You don't need your, oh, this is my wildflower patch. It's, there are wildflowers in amongst my entire garden. Hard landscaping is essential, and when done well, it's fantastic, but don't overcomplicate it. So if you need help, then get help from contractors and things like that. I mean, I sometimes design things and have no idea how to make it happen, but what I usually do is look at it and see whether I can simplify it slightly so that I can understand the process as well as the contractor can understand it. I'd say the same thing applies for people in their own gardens. If they want to build patios, raised beds or anything else, just make it simple and usable. I also quite like the idea of raised beds surrounding seating areas, because I love the idea of being kind of enveloped by your planting in the garden, having these pockets that you can sit in and feel part of it. It creates a large planting area that you wouldn't have otherwise if you can't dig. And what I quite like about raised beds as well is that you can manipulate the space to have different eye levels or surround yourself with planting as you sit down. It gives you more options, I think. For me, having lived in London, I think it's so important to have access to green spaces, whether it's your back garden or whether it's a public space, because you're surrounded by so much hard landscaping, so much concrete and glass, and there is something that makes people calmer and happier about having access to green spaces. It helps with mental well-being, and with the stress of everyday life, sometimes you just need a place that's calming and tranquil, and that's why it's so important.